Bangladesh, a nation known for its vibrant culture and resilient people, is facing a period of intense unrest. Protests have erupted across the country, painting a stark picture of deep-seated discontent. From the bustling streets of Dhaka to rural villages, people are making their voices heard. The situation is complex, a volatile mix of economic hardship, political frustration, and social anxieties. The nation stands at a crossroads, grappling with an uncertain future.
The protests in Bangladesh are not a monolithic entity. They encompass a diverse cross-section of society, each with their own grievances and aspirations. Students, frustrated with limited opportunities and a stifled education system, have taken to the streets. Workers, struggling to make ends meet amidst rising costs of living, are demanding fair wages and better working conditions. Farmers, grappling with unpredictable weather patterns and unfair market prices, are voicing their concerns. These diverse voices, united in their dissatisfaction, are shaping the narrative of these protests.
One of the primary drivers of the unrest is the dire economic situation facing many Bangladeshis. The economic landscape has become increasingly challenging, with many struggling to make ends meet. The cost of essential goods and services has skyrocketed, putting immense pressure on ordinary citizens. Prices of everyday items such as rice, vegetables, and cooking oil have surged, making it difficult for families to afford even the most basic necessities. Basic necessities like food, fuel, and transportation have become increasingly unaffordable, pushing families deeper into poverty. The rising fuel prices have also led to higher transportation costs, affecting daily commutes and access to essential services. The gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen, creating a sense of economic disparity and injustice. In affluent neighborhoods, luxury and comfort are evident, while in the slums, people struggle to survive in dire conditions. The government's economic policies have come under intense scrutiny, with critics accusing them of exacerbating the plight of the poor and favoring the wealthy elite. Public rallies and protests have become more frequent, with citizens demanding fairer economic practices and greater accountability from their leaders. The call for economic justice is growing louder as people seek solutions to the deepening crisis.
Adding fuel to the fire are widespread allegations of corruption within the government. Citizens are outraged by reports of embezzlement, bribery, and cronyism. They see a system where those in power prioritize personal gain over the welfare of the people. This perceived lack of accountability and transparency has eroded public trust in institutions. The government's attempts to crack down on dissent, often using excessive force and arbitrary arrests, have further inflamed tensions.
Section 5. A call for freedom. Beyond the immediate economic and political grievances lies a deeper yearning for freedom and democracy. Many Bangladeshis, particularly the younger generation, crave a society where they can express their opinions freely without fear of reprisal. They demand a political system that is transparent, accountable, and responsive to the needs of the people. The suppression of dissent, the curtailing of media freedom, and the shrinking space for civil society have all contributed to a growing sense of frustration and disillusionment.
Section 6. A nation on hold. The streets of Dhaka, once bustling with activity, now lie eerily silent. The vibrant markets and busy shops are now shuttered, a stark reminder of the turmoil gripping the nation. The ongoing unrest has had a profound impact on Bangladeshi society. Protests have erupted across the country, with thousands taking to the streets to voice their discontent. The air is thick with tension as people demand change. Businesses have been forced to shut down, schools have been closed, and daily life has been disrupted. The economic impact is severe, with many struggling to make ends meet. The education of countless children has been put on hold, adding to the nation's woes. The uncertainty and fear have cast a shadow over the nation, hindering economic activity and social progress. People are anxious about the future, unsure of when normalcy will return. The once thriving markets are now deserted, and construction projects have come to a standstill. The situation has also raised concerns about security, with reports of violence and clashes between protesters and law enforcement. The streets have become battlegrounds, with frequent confrontations leading to injuries and even fatalities. The heavy police presence has done little to quell the unrest. The government's heavy-handed response has drawn condemnation from international human rights groups, further isolating Bangladesh on the global stage. The international community watches closely as the nation grapples with its internal strife. The calls for justice and reform grow louder, echoing beyond the borders of Bangladesh.
Section 7. The world is watching. The international community has not remained silent in the face of the unfolding crisis in Bangladesh. Various governments, human rights organizations, and media outlets have expressed deep concern over the situation. Calls for restraint, dialogue, and respect for human rights have been issued. Some countries have imposed sanctions or threatened to withdraw aid in response to the government's crackdown. The international community's response, however, has been criticized by some as being too muted and slow.
Section 8. The fight continues. The streets of Bangladesh are alive with the voices of thousands demanding change and justice. As the protests in Bangladesh continue, the future remains uncertain. The air is thick with tension as demonstrators clash with police forces, and the cries for reform grow louder each day. The government faces a critical juncture, standing at a crossroads where every decision could alter the nation's trajectory. The halls of power are filled with debates and discussions as leaders weigh their options, needing to choose between escalating repression, which could lead to further unrest and international condemnation, or engaging in meaningful dialogue with the protesters. The voices of the people are clear, and the call for negotiation is growing stronger. The international community has a responsibility to step in and offer support. Diplomatic channels are buzzing with activity as global leaders discuss the best ways to assist, to use its leverage to push for a peaceful resolution. The pressure from international bodies is mounting, urging the Bangladeshi government to consider peaceful solutions. That addresses the legitimate grievances of the Bangladeshi people. The signs and chants reflect deep-seated issues that have long been ignored. The eyes of the world are on Bangladesh, with global media covering every development. The international community is watching closely, hoping for a positive outcome. Watching and waiting to see if this nation can find a path towards a more just and equitable future. The hope for peace and justice is palpable, as the world waits to see if Bangladesh can rise to the challenge and create a brighter future for all its citizens.